To another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. Hello, Michael. And don't forget, give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you're enjoying the content. Well, today I've got two things for you. One is quite funny and one's very serious. So, the first thing I want to say, the more light-hearted thing, is I had an asexual misunderstanding. So tonight I went out with my best friend who was the one in hospital. The doctor signed her off sick again, and she's got to see a consultant on the 28th, but the doctor says she's going to take some time to get better because, you know, it was life-threatening what she had. So it was great to see my friend. She's still not fully well, but it was wonderful to see her. And so I met her and her other best friend at a pub in my city, and there was a band playing, a favourite band. I've still got my dress on, see? I've still got my party dress on, as it were. I don't know if I can stand on the bed and show you. This is my new dress. So I love this dress. I don't know if I can stand up and show you on my bed. So yeah, this is my nice party dress. I've got my jacket on as well. So it's crushed velvet. I really love it. I've made a mess of my bed now, but hey ho, it doesn't matter. And so yeah, so I was there doing some dancing. My friend did a bit, but I had to sit down because she still wasn't well. And I absolutely love dancing. And when the band had finished, my friend was still there for a bit, and her friend, till they caught the train home. And there was this guy that came up to me. He must have been like 50 something. And you know that I don't personally feel very comfortable around older guys. I always feel more comfortable being in an environment with younger guys. But my friend's older than me. And when we go to these pubs, there tends to be older guys there. Majority of them tend to be older, although the bar staff were young. So yeah, so it's kind of like this guy came towards me. And he started going like this with his fingers near my legs. And I thought he was being really, really rude, like saying something about my private parts, right? And I just go, no, that's disgusting. And then this woman who was stood next to him, she goes, all he wants to do is get his coat. And I honestly thought he was saying naughty stuff about my private parts, but when he was moving his fingers near my legs, it was because my coat was behind where I was stood, and he'd been sat in the chair next to the one I was sat in, and his coat was in the corner, and I didn't realise. And so it's like, oh my goodness me. And I couldn't do nothing but laugh afterwards. I mean, it was a poor bloke, you know. I thought he was saying rude stuff, but what he was saying is, can you pass my coat, please? Like but it's just the way he did the gesture near my legs. And, you know, I'm very protective of myself when I'm out, because I know what a lot of guys are like. But literally just wanted to get his jacket. So this other woman said he just wants to get his jacket, and it was behind me. So I got it for him. I did say, I'm sorry. I apologised and said, I'm sorry. I didn't realise. I thought you were saying something rude to me. So I did say I'm sorry, because, I mean, that was my fault. But I honestly thought he said something, you know, like, you know, that he shouldn't have done, but he obviously didn't, and it was my fault, so that was my mistake. But, you know, so asexual misunderstandings can happen with sexuals, as I've just proven. But, you know, that I didn't realise he wanted to get his coat. I thought he was being rude, and I did say sorry because, yeah, I told my mum, and she thought that was hilarious. She said, poor guy, though. I said, I know. I said, because my friend's best friend as well, so all he wanted to do is get his coat. Poor man, haha. Yeah, I know. And so yeah, my best friend's friend, she's like, she started laughing in the end, because I said I didn't realise. I thought he was saying naughty stuff about my private parts with the way he was moving his hands near my legs and stuff. I didn't realise. She goes, no, he just wanted to get his coat. It was behind you. I said, well, I know that now. I said, I did say I was sorry. I said, oh well, he'll get over it. He must have been about 50 plus. I said, he'll get over it, you know. But I didn't expect to I guess I didn't expect his coat to be there. I didn't even know it was there. So, you know, that was my bad. I do admit that. So that was really kind of funny in the end. I mean, it's not so funny for him, I guess, but I did apologise. And, you know, hopefully you can see the funny side of it when he gets home. But you know, I am quite protective of myself when I'm out, because obviously being asexual, you kind of got to be quite protective over yourself, I think, but still have a good time. So you've got to just be wary, you know, aware of people around you. But, you know, when I'm out, some people are like, how can you be asexual and be out amongst loads of different people? It's just because I tend to ignore most people. Sometimes I see guys looking at me, but especially older guys, I just ignore. I just like, because I don't think I'm the birth certificate age I am, I just think they're a bit puffy, and I'm just like, they're like old men to me, you know? And I'm like, just, you know, just go away. But I mean, a lot of them are still older in birth certificate age than me anyway. They're in another decade usually. But you know, even guys that might be remotely around my birth certificate age, I look nothing like my birth certificate age, really. So guys that are my birth certificate age, they look so much older than me. And it's like, they look more like a dad to me, do you know what I mean? That reminds me of a comedy sketch I saw where a woman comes out for lessons sexual assault and guy tries to ask them for directions and gets maced. Oh dear, yeah. I mean, it's not very funny stuff like that, so you know what I mean. But I honestly, it's the way he put his fingers down near my dress, you know, and it is quite noisy in there. But so I didn't hear him correctly because he put his fingers near my legs, near the dress. I just thought it was so weird, because usually when you ask for a coat, it'd be like over your shoulder, wouldn't it? It'd be kind of like, oh, my coat's over there. But it was like his hands were down near the edge of my dress, if you know what I mean. They were waving around his fingers like that, and of course that is near my personal part, so I was very protective over that. That's why I said no, that's disgusting, because I thought it was all about either me touching myself there or him touching me. I didn't know what he was on about, and obviously I didn't know what he was on about. He was on about getting his coat, but I mean, why was his fingers near the edge of my, you know, down near my dress? It was just weird. He just obviously, you know, did his hand gestures different to me, because normally if I've left my coat somewhere, I'd be still more at the shoulder height saying to someone, I've got my coat down there. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't really put my hands, like say it was the opposite way around. There was a guy stood there and I had a coat behind him. I don't think I would have put my fingers down near his groin, but I don't know, maybe his eyes were just looking at his coat, so that's why he had his hands there. It must have been because he must have just been thinking his coat's down, and instead of just looking down and pointing down, he decided to just point across, which was, because I'm short, where my end of my dress was, because that's probably on a level par with the coat, as in terms of, like, you know, his angle. So maybe that's probably what happened. It's just, it freaked me out, I guess. And so, you know, because you know how the world's so highly sexualized, you know, and anyone gets near my bits who I don't know, you know, like down below. I mean, I'm kind of used to, I know it sounds weird, but when you're out and you're in a pub that's type space dancing, you kind of get used to people smacking into your bum a bit, you know, nudging your bum and going past your bum. I'm kind of more used to that. You know, I don't want it, you know, I'm not, you know, but I know people knock into it sometimes. I am aware of that. But if anyone goes near my front parts, you know, there's trouble. I'm like, my front parts are all like really sacred to me. So if anyone's doing anything to do with the front parts, or near them, I'm very protective of them. Do you know what I mean? Very protective of them. So yeah, I guess I got a bit freaked out by it, but it was my fault. I misheard him. And I said I was sorry, but yeah, I could dwell on it. But I mean, you know, these things happen. But, you know, I just wanted to admit that I actually made a mistake with a sexual person, thinking his intention was something it wasn't. So that was me. And I think it's really important that both sexuals and asexuals admit when they've, you know, made mistakes with each other. It's really important. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, which I hope it doesn't happen, but it's not very good, right? The reason why I was late on this live stream tonight is I was really, 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 really horrified. Because, you know, my Asexualized Academy that I currently have the free Asexuality Basics for Beginners course on, that I'm going to be putting paid for courses on next year, that I've currently been doing research in my groups about what people want to pay for in terms of courses to advance their learning. Well, I got an email today saying that the deal I bought, the original deal I bought to go on to that, the site I host it on, I bought it through a third party, and they've turned around and said the third party hasn't paid them what they owed, so that they're going to close my account and everyone's accounts down on the 22nd of January. And so I'm so upset because it's not my fault. I mean, there's other people, business owners, that are really fuming in the group. I'm not going to go into the platform at the moment because I'm hoping that they're going to rectify it, you know. I'm hoping that it's not, you know, this is not going to be definitely goodbye, because I actually bought a product through them directly, because they're saying that their original contract wasn't honoured through the third party. They haven't been paid, so therefore they're cancelling all our accounts, which is really not fair to us, because it's not our fault that they weren't paid by the third party. But I also bought one of the apps on that site, on that company. I also bought one directly from them on a lifetime deal with part of my redundancy money. But at the moment, they're saying they're just going to close all the accounts down, so I don't know if I'm going to get my money back from that. I don't know if I'm still going to allow it to be on there, and they're trying to upgrade me to a monthly plan, but I haven't earned any money, obviously, through there at the moment, because the course I've got on there is free. You know, and unless I've got money coming in to pay for a monthly fee to host the courses, I can't afford it. Do you know what I mean? I've not got a full-time employed job at the moment. Just selling a few t-shirts and books, you know, that just about covers my business insurance. You know, I've been looking to do other stuff. Sorry, joining you late. Hi, Andy. Yeah, I was just saying that where I host my you know, my Quirky Academy, where there's a site that hosts it, because obviously when you're doing courses online, someone has to host the courses. It's another company. It's not me who does that. It's another company, because they've got all the payment processes and everything. And I bought a lifetime deal with part of my redundancy money to have access to this site where I can house my Quirky, my Quirky Academy is on there, my Asexualized Academy is on there, and I was creating a few more academies, and I've actually been working something really, really hard, because I wanted to get, not for asexuals, but another business thing to finish that for tomorrow and launch it, or at least before the new year. But sadly, I've been told that my account is going to be closed down, because the company I bought the deal from, the third party, they're not paying the company that I have got my sites on, my academy on, so therefore they're going to shut it down and shut all the accounts down. But I've paid for a lifetime deal of another app that goes with the others on that site. So I don't know what's going to happen. You know, they're trying to get us upgraded to monthly payment plans, but I don't have any income coming in. I can't, you know, unless I get paid for a course on there and people start buying the courses, which, you know, to try and get paid for courses on there before the 22nd of January. And then if I get the paid for courses on there, if they shut it anyway on the 22nd of January, then it means that the customers won't be able to have access to any of their products. I mean, obviously the course that's on there at the moment is free. You know, but it would mean that course, you know, that people won't be able to access that course anymore. So I'm really upset about it, because it's got nothing to do with me. It's got to do with the company I host them with and the third party. Now, I've actually bought something direct with them as well that costs me money. So, and I invested some of my redundancy money that obviously I don't have anymore. That's all gone. I was redundant, like, for my day job, as I call it, like, over a year ago now. So this has really upset me, you know. They said, oh, email them, but you know, but they're on about upgrading to a paid plan. I can't afford a paid plan. I can't afford a paid plan until people start paying me for courses. This is why I say to people, you know, asexuality, not everything can be free for asexuals, because if everything's free for asexuals and you get limited by stuff like this you can't afford, then you can't expand the word of asexuality as big as it should go, because you can't get the courses out to people that need them, because you need somewhere to host the courses, and they usually have fees going with them, because obviously the people that host your courses for you, that provide all the checkout and everything like that, they are a professional business. They need paying. You know, just like people, you know, it's a business, isn't it, at the end of the day? So yeah, I'm really upset about that. I'm hoping to God something happens and I don't get my academy shut down on the 22nd of January. It's not just me that's in this boat. There's a lot of other people that have just been emailed. We've got 30 days notice to upgrade to a paid plan, or else we're out. And it's just like, I paid for a lifetime deal, which should be lifetime, you know. So I'm really upset at the moment. I don't know what to do other than email and speak to the owner. There's not a lot I can do about it. But they're saying that I'm not a customer of theirs. I'm a customer of the third party who I pay from, but I paid for their service and their products, their products. And also I bought an extra thing directly with them, so I'm entitled to keep that product that's directly with them because I paid for that. So I'm still a customer of theirs. So it's all a bit up in the air, and it's something I don't really need now on top of everything else, because it's been quite a very difficult 2 months, to be quite honest. First of all, I had Chestnut die the night before I fell down the stairs as well. I don't know if you know that. And my parents, when I was seeing Chestnut, and then Chestnut died, and that's still ongoing because the story to do with Chestnut dying has changed so much over the past month that I don't know what's true anymore. So I've written to the head of the veterinary practice for some answers about the timings and what actually happened with her. I've got my best friend, as you know, went into hospital. I was with her 5 days over the hospital time, and she went in with a life. The doctor told her she could have died, basically. So I'm really lucky I've still got my best friend here, but she's still, she's still not fully better yet. So, and then obviously I had the slip, trip and fall in the shower on my rushing to see her. I fell down myself, and hurt my head and my foot and everything. So that was hard on the body. And then before I went to see her 2 days before that, I was diagnosed with stress by the doctor because of the grief with Chestnut. Because even though I'm getting on with life and I'm saying I'm okay and getting on with things, the doctor's like, all the symptoms of like the dizziness I've been experiencing, the low blood pressure, all that type of thing. She said that it was because I was stressed with what's happened with the trauma with Chestnut, the way she died and bled to death. So it's been a really difficult time for me, and it's just, it's just been hard. And I'm trying all I can to get better myself, because I feel like I've been having this virus inside me for a long time because I've had 2 chest infections back to back. I've got some good bacteria from my homeopath that she provides me with. I've got extra now to try and boost my immune system back up so I start getting back on track. But the doctor said, obviously, I've got to cry over Chestnut. I've got to let it out because all the upset is in pains in my body. It's not coming out. So I have been crying more, but it's hard, I kind of just want to stop now. It's like been over a month, but, I'm still upset because it's not kind of resolved, because I don't know the timings of what happened, and I want to stop anything like this ever happening again. My angel now, she went to the vets for a diabetic checkup yesterday, and unfortunately, she's now got a lump where they stitched her up, and her operation's been over a month ago. That shouldn't be happening. So she's got quite this big lump now, and the vet's hoping it should go down in the next 2 weeks. But if it doesn't, what's going to happen then? If she has to be opened up again, I don't like her chances of survival. At the moment, it's not bothering her. My mum runs her fingers across it, and she doesn't flinch. She does nothing. She's still eating, drinking, everything's fine. So nothing's going to happen at the moment. Whatever, she's fine and nothing's going on. That's great. And the vet thinks it's just like taking longer to heal inside for some reason. Apparently there's 3 layers they have to put back when they're operating on guinea pigs, which I've read up about. But it shouldn't, according to what I've read, it shouldn't be happening. A month later, it's not normal. Usually it means there's a cyst there, a hernia there, or that they're infected and need antibiotics. But there's no soreness, no pus, no infection looking. So I can only hope that it is, that it is extra healing. Oh, sometimes they can get an infected stitch inside them as well. So that is still a possibility. So, I'm very concerned. She's got a checkup in 2 weeks on January 4th for her diabetes that's been up and down. I've been back and forward to the vets every week for the last 5 weeks since her operation. She was off insulin for 18 days and gone back on it now, and she's back up to a full dose, but her blood glucose has been up and down. But when Angel was originally rushed in for emergency 3 days after her operation because she started bleeding, which is not normal. I've never had a guinea pig do that before. And so, but luckily she stopped bleeding quickly. She was only a bit of blood. But then they found her blood glucose was critically low, as in if she'd have kept getting insulin, she would have died. So although my mum rushed her in for the blood, they actually found something else. But the operation that she had can affect the diabetes and can affect the blood sugar levels. So now her blood sugar level's gone back up again. The insulin's, dose has gone back up again. So it's all quite traumatic. And then obviously, I'm now getting the fact that, the where I host my academy might be shut down. I mean, if I had lots of money, it'd be great because then I could pay monthly and everything would be fine. But at the moment, I haven't made any money off that. So it's not like I can invest it back to to pay to stay on there. You know, you can't pay money out when you haven't got money coming in. Do you see what I mean? It's just not a feasible valid thing. But you need to pay out to get the facility in the first place. So it's really difficult. I don't know what I'm going to do at the moment, so I have to just wait. I mean, I've emailed the support like they asked to, but they don't look like they're going to change their mind. But there's a lot of people in the group that are upset because it's not our fault. You know, we're not responsible for the fact the third party didn't pay them. You know, and I've never met a company that's, you know, done that. But I mean, the company's been very good up till now. So, you know, I'm really hoping they get it sorted out. Hi, Lewis. Nice to see you. So, you know, I have had a bit of trauma recently. I have had quite a lot of, you know, I usually like to be really positive on this channel, really light-hearted. I like to be honest as well. Like when I say there's sexuals that are sometimes on asexual dating sites and not you know, not saying they're sexual, then, you know, I do point all that type of thing out, which a lot of other you know, I don't think many other channels actually go around saying you know, about, you know, what actually happens with these apps and stuff. You know, I think, you know, I got a comment today that someone's really surprised that it's a dating app, but it was originally started as a dating app, actually, ASAP. So you know, but there's also some of the asexual dating sites, they've obviously got sexuals on as well, but you know, a lot of them don't say they're sexual, which is, you know, in my opinion, wrong. So I do tell it like it is, but overall I like to keep this channel very positive and full of energy and light. But, you know, it's been a very difficult time for me. I've got Christmas Eve tomorrow, I've got Christmas Day, and I'm actually working on a business thing that I was working to put on another site or within that place that's telling me that now they're going to shut my account on the 22nd of January. So I'm hoping to God some miracle happens and that all changes. I'm hoping my best friend that has her consultation on the 28th of December gets the answers she needs about, you know, about whether she needs an operation or not, to help her to have a better quality of life. You know, there's a lot going on at the moment. I usually like to be positive always, but I have to say, you know, sometimes things do mount up and it's really difficult. It doesn't mean to say that I don't still love life. Yes, I love life. I'm alive. You know, I've got a roof over my head. I'm in a lot better position than some other people are in the world. You know, I've got food in my belly. I've got both my parents. You know, I've got I've got good friends, particularly asexual friends. So there's a lot of good stuff in my life, you know, and I'm very grateful and thankful for all that. It's just having to deal with constant like problems one after the other can be a bit like draining on the energy and can be a bit upsetting, you know, especially when it's kind of some of this stuff is out of your control. I mean, I bought a theme for and the bundle for asexualist.com as well, and that has had technical problems, so much so that I can't even use the site until the theme people and the plugin people refund me. But then it's like they're not going to refund me my money because I've gone to the theme developers, told them, they said if you want money back you'll have to go through the third party. The third party said, oh okay, we hope to resolve your problem. And 3 days later they're then saying, did you get good service or not, as in they've like closed the complaint now. So they're not even dealing with it anymore. So, you know, that is pretty much, you know, written off as a lost cause, the money I put in for the plugin and the theme. See, and as a person, you know, I can't afford to keep losing money on things or not having money coming in the first place, you know. So it makes life very difficult when I'm trying to do my best to help asexuals and, you know, do all the work I do. And it's very difficult when you come across, you know, these type of things. I mean, they do these things make us stronger. Thank you, Heather, by the way, I appreciate that. You know, these things make us stronger. They're challenges, they're opportunities, you know. So there you know, there is good stuff, but you know, it's just that, you know, I think we're entitled in life to sometimes say that life's a bit difficult at the moment. It could be better, it could be a lot worse. So I'm very grateful and thankful. I mean, obviously in situations like this, you have to be really grateful and thankful for the things you do have. You know, you have to still be positive. So obviously I'm still thankful. I'm so thankful my friend's alive. I mean, the doctor told her recently she could have died. The doctor that sent her to the hospital because her vitals and statistics were that bad. She actually had septicemia of the epiglottis, if you want to know what was wrong with her. And you actually know many people die of septicemia. So I'm lucky to still have her alive and here. But, you know, she's not completely out of the woods yet. So, but she's a lot better than what she was. So, you know, I'm so grateful and thankful that she's alive. I'm so grateful and thankful I currently have a second guinea pig, you know. So I'm very grateful for that, you know, and I'm grateful that I've been able to give asexuals an opportunity about learning about asexuality with a free course. You know, I don't know currently what I'm going to do about that until I find out when my account's definitely going to be closed on the 22nd or not. I'm going to have to wait it out, I think. But, you know, if I try and pay for the monthly fee, you know, I need that money for food. Not being funny, but I need food money. Food is more important, do you know what I mean? You need food in your belly. You haven't got money coming in for food. You kind of have to put food first, do you know what I mean, over something like that. So, it's really, really difficult. People don't realise that a lot of people think, oh, well, asexual dating sites or asexual this, that and the other, it's all free, but they don't understand the costs that go involved in paying. You know, you have to have costs for hosting fees. You know, if you have like paid for courses, you have to have some specific software service that hosts the courses and is able to facilitate a payment gateway. You know, even free courses, they still have to have a payment gateway for the free courses, and they have to have somewhere to host all the modules, and you know, because it's an online video course. They have, you know, you have places where they host the modules as well for you, the videos you can upload, pictures you can upload, all this type of thing. You know, does cost money. So do you know what I mean? So, you know, eventually has to, you know, it has to be made into a business, so be able to survive and keep whatever you're doing going. You know, asexuality.org, in case you wondered, is a registered charity within the USA. That's why it doesn't have paid for advertising or any sort of commercial stuff towards it, because it's a registered charity. But registered charities are very, very different to obviously other independent companies and businesses. They're a registered charity. So things are a little bit different. So yeah, I just think when, you know, if you are going through some hard times yourself at the moment, you know, just stay as positive as you possibly can, and just think that sometimes things are beyond your control, and it's kind of really, really difficult. I mean, my choices, you know, like I have to wait it out and see where they change their mind, upgrade to their monthly plan, or I lose what I've already got, unless they let me keep part of it, you know. Because they should let me keep the bit that I paid for directly with them, but that wasn't the academy hosting bit. So yeah, it's all very up in the air, and I was just, you know, I'm quite upset about it. So you know, because I was finally, you know, I've been working really hard on another business on that site, and I've literally been working like the last 3 or 4 days on preparing this product for customers, and it's not a training course, it's downloadable stuff, but it's not a training course. But I've worked really hard, and I was going to run a Facebook ad to it before the end of the new year, but now I'm thinking, well, if, you know, if something happens to this company where I can't actually have, you know, give my customers access, I mean, the thing that I'm doing, technically they could download it and keep it, and they don't actually need to have ongoing access to my site. But if they paid for it, they will probably want ongoing access. But, you know, but it's not a membership thing, it's literally a product. You buy it, you download it. So I might still be able to do it, but, you know, you don't really want your reputation going up and doing a product to sell to people, and then all of a sudden you disappear. Do you see what I mean? I've still got my brand name, because I've still got my, websites, but I can't, you know, but I haven't got a way of, at the moment, doing what I need to do. I mean, I actually had a shop that I bought but that didn't work, so I had to get rid of that, scrap that for what I'm using now. So, you know, that people don't say this side of entrepreneurship. They don't tell you the side where you end up forking out a lot of money and things don't go according to plan. And then if you've bought stuff through a third party, they both, you know, say they're not liable for it if anything goes wrong. And then you have people denying it, both sides, and then you don't get anywhere. It's horrible. I actually had it, being very personal, I had it with I've had one mortgage in my life with my ex. Not the last long-term ex, but the ex before that. And he sadly had an affair. And so I moved in with him on the first of, not my last long-term ex, this is a guy got with when I was 17 in birth certificate age, I think I was. It's the first guy I ever went to live with. And we got a mortgage together on the 1st of December. And a few days before Christmas, I think it's the 23rd of December, he told me he'd been having an affair with a woman with a kid. And so it was crazy. crazy. And so the point I'm trying to make is, other than obviously being asexual, you kind of get a lot of people cheating on you, sadly, because you're not into sex. He wasn't a good guy anyway, you know, he was abusive. But, you know, it's just horrible. I can't be with a sexual person because the majority would just cheat. You can't trust them, sadly, to not have sex with other people. You just can't. The majority of them anyway, you know, it's very difficult. And, but anyway, to cut a long story short, we separated rooms in January, and then my dad took me to go and live back with my parents, him and mum, just for a few weeks. So yeah, but when I moved out, there was a flood. There was two things wrong. One is when we moved in, the shower and toilet weren't fixed properly, and there was water all coming out of it. And then the people upstairs flooded into our flat. And the insurance company, we had two insurance companies with two different companies. One was internal insurance, contents, and one was buildings. And they were both arguing who was liable. Both were saying that I'm not liable. So just a little life tip, if you're ever getting insurance, I recommend you get contents and building with the same company. Just a little life tip there, because otherwise you end up with this situation where they're totally fighting against each other. I mean, even though I've got websites, you know, if I buy any third-party products, then my web host will be going, oh, it's a third-party product, it's not ours. And then, you know, but then you find out it is the web host, and it's just like absolute nightmare. You know, there's a lot of issues that go on. I mean, but that's life, isn't it? There's bound to be difficulties in life, and at the end of the day, I've still got a roof over my head. I've still got food in my belly, food in the fridge and stuff like that. So I've still got wonderful friends. I'm still alive. Do you know what I mean? So I still intend 2019 to be the best year of my life. But it's just like when these challenges crop up, it's like, whoa, they come in quite big force, you know? And it's like the law of averages means when you get a lot of rubbish happen, you should have lots of good stuff happen. So if rubbish keeps coming your way, like problems keep coming all the time like this, it means that you are in for one heck of a good time in the future. But you've just got to kind of ride the storm, as it were. But sometimes the storms are quite difficult, because you get one storm and then you're like, bang, I've got another storm. And then bang, I've got another storm. And you're like, cheers for that. Do you know what I mean? You know, and my mum was rushed into A&E the other day because she's got a rare condition that affects her. She got a rare eye condition that affects her kidneys. She saw a specialist years ago in Bristol, and they've only seen 5 cases of it ever. And so it's called uveitis iris. And in 2010, she had kidney failure, my mum, and had an operation, emergency surgery to save her life, which thank God she's alive. But she has ongoing problems with her eyes, and she had cataracts removed in both of them and lenses put in, and she's been at the hospital. She has to put drops in her eye, constantly steroid drops, like for the rest of her life. And one of them, she's had a problem with the left eye. She started to see squiggly things in there. But the right eye started to bleed, but rather than it just bleeding like it often does, which is quite a gross thing for her eye to bleed anyway, this week, a few days ago, her actual eye completely hemorrhaged, and there was blood coming out all over the pillow. I didn't find out till the next day, on the Thursday, that had happened on the Wednesday night. So she went into A&E, and then she had to go back on the next day as well, after she saw me. The next day, I think it was, she had to go back, or was it that morning, I think? Yeah, so, you know, so that came out of her eye. So at the moment, and then she went to see a consultant. They said that migraines to do with the pressure in her left eye from a test she should have had done already, with the squiggly eye and thing. So at the moment, my mum's right eye is completely full of blood. Like when you look at it, they said it's nearly stopped bleeding now, but it's really in a bad way for her, you know. She can't see very well, and, you know, it just looking at it just looks like a pool of blood, so it's kind of hard to look at, you know. I'm quite squeamish, but you know, she's still looking after Angel. She's still doing really well, and, you know, my mum's been through a lot, actually, and she's a very, very strong woman. I take my hat off to my mum. She's super, super strong, with illness and stuff like that. So yeah, I do take my hat off to her, but you know what I mean? It's obviously, I'm a bit worried about my mum at the moment. So it's kind of like everything kind of piles up. And this Christmas, I think, is going to be... I mean, I love Christmas. I always love Christmas. I always will. I'll make the best of it that I can possibly make. But, you know, I'm still a little bit sad about Chestnut. I wish I could just snap my fingers and say, I'm really happy, you know, and Chestnut doesn't affect me anymore. But that would be lying to you, because it does. I still get upset about it. And I have to just wait it out and, you know, let the upset come and go, I think. But it's really weird because everything else I've kind of got over, you know, like, quicker. But this is really taking its time, you know. My brain's not actually accepting it a lot of the time. And obviously with ongoing problems with Angel, you know, it's a worry because I don't want to lose her as well. And you're kind of like on tenterhooks all the time. So, you know, I want you to know whatever you're going through in your life right now, I do get it. And, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, like, I refuse to be depressed again. Like, 2012 was when I freed myself of depression for years, and I refuse to ever go back to that state. You know, I'm not gonna sit here being depressed, even though I'm upset over Chestnut at the moment, off and on. You know, I'm not gonna sit here being depressed. You know, I went out tonight, I jumped up and down, I lived in the moment. And that's one of the things you've got to do when you're having a lot of problems, is try and live in the moment. So if you've got moments that are really happy, you know, try and forget everything in that moment, just to focus on that moment and enjoy it, because life is so precious and time's so precious, and once that minute or second's gone, it's gone for life, you know. So when I was out today, you know, I was dancing, I was jumping up and down, and I was enjoying myself and stuff, and I was forgetting all my worries really. And then obviously when I stop dancing, then I start thinking about things again. But you know, all we can do in our life is do the best we can do at the time. You know, we can't force ourselves to be someone we're not, but we also have to remain positive, because, you know, a negative mindset, which is what can happen, especially when you're grieving as well for a long period of time, a negative mindset, you know, can encourage other negative things to happen, and that's not what you want. So it's best to remain as positive and optimistic as possible, so that you know, you know, you just you know, keep trying to attract positive things, because if you get into a negative spiral, it's not good. So it's very hard when you know that you've got to be positive and you don't actually feel positive as well all the time. So when I'm upset over Chestnut sometimes at the moment and still grieving, it's kind of like I know in my mind that it's not good, because it's good to get it out, but it's kind of like I wished it would just stop now, you know, because it's like it's not good for having prolonged grief. But I mean, some people's grief takes longer than others. It's been just over a month, but it's hard for me. This one's really hard to shift. I think it's because as well I don't have any guinea pigs here anymore. So every time I've lost a guinea pig, they've died for some reason. I've always had another guinea pig. I've always got another one, you know. So I've had something to love, to cuddle, to look after, and to completely focus on my mind on. So that the piggy that's gone, I never forget them. I still love them. I'm still a bit upset, but the upset and pain's not as much, because I've got this little being here that I've got to put as my ultimate first, you know. When I'm over my parents at Christmas, which I'm going to theirs Christmas Eve tomorrow, happy Christmas provisionally to you all who are watching, you know, it'll be great, because I'll be spending time with Angel, and, you know, she's the love of my life, my other guinea pig, but it's just difficult for me because she's over there and not over here, you know, and she can't come back here because she's diabetic and I can't inject her. I mean, she had a blood test this week, right, which the head vet's off sick, so this woman had to do it, this nurse, and even she has having problems. She was having to stick a needle in the ear of my guinea pig to take a blood test, and she didn't even want to do it. And she was like bending the ear a little bit to try and get some blood out, and just spotting it going, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm hoping I'm not hurting you. And my mum couldn't believe it, because this is a nurse that's in with major operations, and she was scared of like pricking her and hurting her. So that's how I feel. But it was nice for me to have a nurse be like that, because I'm not a nurse and I'm like that because I can't inject her because I feel like I'm hurting her. And that's exactly what this nurse was saying. But the nurse is witness to like operations and lots of blood and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I'm not. So it was a bit like kind of like nice that my mum could see that. My mum understands what it's like for me anyway, but, you know, but she could see that. She was like, oh, I wish I could have done it myself. She said, I was about to say to the nurse, look, I'll do it. I could do it quicker than you. Because my mum's diabetic, you see, as well. So she's constantly injecting herself every single day. So she's used to that. She just like, she doesn't bother with it. Even my dad gets a bit funny about, you know, injecting Angel. Even he doesn't really want to do it, but my mum's like, just get on with it quickly, because she's got a different mindset, because she's so used to doing it herself for years that it doesn't affect her as much. Do you see what I mean? She wishes she couldn't do it, but she knows it's best for the guinea pig, and so therefore that's the attitude that's carried through her whole persona and body, so she's not so bad doing it. But you know, so it was really interesting. This nurse had you know, she must have tried about 4 times, you know, and she was trying to like squeeze it up a bit just to get some out for her to do the test that she needed to be done. But it's quite weird seeing an actual nurse do that, you know, who's supposed to be very proficient in doing stuff like that. It made me feel a little bit better that I'm not such a, you know, I kind of feel a bad mum because obviously I feel like I should be able to do that for her. It's the only thing I've never been able to do. I've been able to do lots of gory stuff for my guinea pigs. One of my guinea pigs had to have its cheek cut open because it had an abscess, and I had to literally bathe it in salt water for 10 days, an open fleshy wound, you know, like its cheek was hanging out basically, and I did that for it. So, you know, that took some guts because I'm very squeamish, but I did that for my piggy, you know, one of my older piggies that's gone now. So, you know, it's kind of hard, but I think all you can do in life is do your best at the time, you know, do the best you can do, and you have to recognise that you do have strengths and you do have weaknesses. Some of your weaknesses you can change and improve on, some you can change overnight, some you can just take time to change, and some maybe you're not going to change on them for whatever reason. Maybe you haven't got the courage enough to change. You know, it's usually to do with courage, actually, you know, maybe just, you know, it's like with my parents, they say, like my mum says, you know, it's no good you inject an angel if in your body you're shaking, which obviously, you know, is a type of, I said my mum, if I was to inject her, I couldn't try to inject her, I couldn't do it quickly anyway, because I don't know what I'm doing. And I need to take my time because I wouldn't want to inject her too much, you know, too hard and do it wrong. And my mum's like, yeah, but it's better for her just to get on with it. So it's really better I don't do it anyway, because I'm be so nervous. And like guinea pigs and animals can pick up when you're nervous, and then it makes them more nervous, you know, and upset. So really it's better that my mum does do it. But I just feel bad that I can't do it, you know, as a pet owner. It feels really upsetting. But I have to just accept that about myself. There's no good beating myself up 55,000 times a day over it, is it? It is what it is. And we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, you know, and I'm very good in a lot of crises that other people wouldn't be. And I'm very, very sympathetic towards people and understanding, which some people haven't got that degree of emotional intelligence that I've got. So, you know, like I was saying in yesterday's video, if you tuned in, that, you know, when you're coming to self-love, you have to accept the weaknesses and strengths about yourself. You can't, you know, you can't not accept your weaknesses. If you don't accept your weaknesses, then you're not accepting a part of you. Then you dislike a part of you. Then you won't get on with yourself, and you've got to live with yourself 365 days a year, 24/7. So it's really imperative that you get on with yourself as much as possible, and you say, hey, I'm not perfect, I've got these flaws, things that I'm not so good at, I wished I was, but hey, at the moment I'm not able to change that, so I accept myself for who I am. And it's like these circumstances at the moment I'm going through, all these different ones, there's not anything that I can, you know, physically change. I have to make you know, I don't know what's going to happen coming up to the 22nd of January. I'm going to lose that site for good, specifically as I've paid for another application on it. So I don't know what's going to happen in that way. I can only pray that that something happens, that I'm able to keep that account. But, you know, I have to take it seriously what they've said. And so I don't know what's going to happen with the Asexualized Academy, whether it's going to have to be stopped, you know, shut that, you know, he's going to shut it down on there, and I'm going to have to try and start it somewhere else in the future when I have the funds to, or, you know, what's actually going to happen going forward. So, you know, I think you've just got to realise some things are out of your control, and all you can do is your best at the time. And you have to accept losses in life of both you know, people, animals, and also, you know, financial losses as well. You know, when you're doing business stuff, like an entrepreneur doesn't necessarily, you know, some entrepreneurs, they do find it difficult to you know, sustain making money on ongoing time in business. An entrepreneur is someone who actually takes financial risks in the name of business and in the name of a cause usually. And so some entrepreneurs can lose a lot of money, and some have to start their businesses all over again, you know. It's what you have to do. But, you know, part of the sort of fulfillment in life is trying different things, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. But it's better to have tried than to just sit at home and not even bother, do you know what I mean, and try and better your life. So, do you know what I mean? It's so good to try these things, you know, rather than just go to a 9-to-5 job, go home and not do anything else. It's much better if you have ambitions and dreams to try and go for them. you have to understand that sometimes that comes with financial risk, and sometimes when you trust other people or other companies, sometimes it doesn't always come to fruition, or sometimes it can be betrayed, that trust, or sometimes things can happen beyond your control, and sometimes you feel like, this is not good, but there's no point in me panicking about it. It's what it is. I'll have to deal with it if the 22nd comes along and I lose all that. I mean, it's not just me, it's other customers. We paid our money to have lifetime access to that, and the things we've got. But we bought it through a third party, but I didn't buy all of it through a third party. I bought some of it direct with them. So, it's very, very difficult situation for not just me, but other business owners. Other people have got their livelihoods on that site. And so I'm really hoping that the owner just has it in his heart to just say, look, we're not getting our money back from the third party, but we honour still why you came to us, because you trusted us. I really hope and pray that he has a change of heart. All you can do is send out loving and happy vibes to that person. I've messaged them as well, obviously stating a fair case, really, considering I've actually paid quite a bit of money for an app with them directly that wasn't through the third party, that I should still be able to have access to because I paid for it with them. I didn't pay for everything with the third party, so I am a customer of theirs. They're saying I'm not entitled to it because I was a customer of third parties and it'll be cut down, but I am. And also we had this competition that if we promoted the company we could get an app for free, and that was directly with them, not through the third party. So I should be able to keep one app besides the one I paid for directly with them. But all we can do is pray that that some miracle happens and we're able to keep our accounts as is, without paying monthly when you can't afford it. I mean, there's another guy in there, he's like, I've not even used it yet, I haven't made any money for it, how can I pay monthly when I haven't made a profit because I haven't used it yet? I mean, I've started to use it, but it takes you a while to even learn the platform and understand everything that's on it, and understand how to upload videos, understand where to put the pictures of the courses, what page relates to what. You have to do all the terms and conditions yourself and upload all them, because that's all the legal stuff. You have to set all the shopping cart to work right for you. You have to embed it in directly into your site as well. You have to do all that. You have to set up, I don't want to get into too much IT talk when you're not going to know what I'm talking about, but basically you've got to connect your own website to their website is an easy way of putting it. And so there's quite a long, lengthy amount of stuff, and learning. There's a lot of learning you've got to do on it as well, as in how to use all the tools they have. So that's all takes time. So when you add up all the time and the money you originally paid into it, you've invested in it. It's sad if that investment's not honoured, So I'm really hoping that things change, and that I have a nice Christmas present that they're going to honour it. But you can't bank on that, so I'll have to just deal with it when it comes next year. And it might mean that I lose a lot more money and facilities to something as well, which I'll be a bit gutted about if I do. But you have to accept things in life, don't you? Otherwise it's just upset and pain, and the least amount of upset and pain you can have in your life, the better. I'm trying, with Chestnut, it's a really difficult situation, because the doctor said because you've got a lot of upset, because you're not crying, because I wasn't as much for a while, they're like, you've got all this stress and pain in your body, and only by crying can you get it out. And then when you have an additional stress with all this other stuff that's going on, it does take a toll on your physical body, and you have to try and protect your energy. We all have this limited amount of energy, and when all these things are hitting us from different angles that are not going quite right, it can kind of feel like we're a punching bag. We're being punched, if you know what I mean, like a punching bag, and it can kind of feel like we've got loads of bollards coming in front of us. But all we have to do is keep thinking that everything happens for a reason, to stay positive and just think, all these obstacles that are cropping up are challenges that are opportunities. They are basically challenges in disguise, that are opportunities in disguise, to lead on to bigger and better things in our life and to learn from them. So let's really, really hope that going forward into the new year that we can have lots of good stuff all coming our way. You know, like I said, there have been some beautiful stuff happen this year. The UK Asexuality Conference I was a speaker at, I did get the world's first ever course out on asexuality, which is free, online course that is. So I was absolutely thrilled that, because it's a first, you know, to be the first in the world to do that is absolutely amazing. I know there's other people already going to follow suit, because I've seen their posts about it in a group that's closed group. But so, you know, but I was the first one to do that, so I'm really proud of that. I mean, I hope I don't lose this site that it's on, but you know, I've been so proud to be able to do that. And I currently got 23 students on there. It's not loads, but even if I can help one person in this world and make their life better because they understand themselves more than than I've done my job in life, but obviously I'll continue, you know, just to make anyone happy, just to make anyone understand themselves better and their asexuality and understand things about life. It just makes me feel happy. You know, it's like I'm content that my life's worth living. You know, yes, financially I'm not exactly where I want to be right now. Yes, I was made redundant from my job last year. Yes, there's a lot of problems and things that have happened recently, but at the end of the day, life is still beautiful. I've still got breath, I'm still living, I've still got shelter, I've still got my Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as they're called. So I've got food, shelter, warmth, love from family and friends. So that is really, really good. And it's important to notice these, things. And like I said, the UK Sexuality Conference was an amazing experience to be speaking in front of people for the first time ever. Proper public speaking was just fantastic. It felt amazing and was really good, because I do still have some anxiety. So it wasn't just a professional thing for me that was amazing. It was actually very personal triumph of mine, because years ago I couldn't have done anything like that. I could only years ago speak one-on-one with people. I couldn't even be in a small group. Like now I hold asexual meetups, as you know. I've been a speaker at the conference. I'm all over social media. I do these live streams all the time and talk to you, and I've just come so far in my life personally, and as much as I think money's really good to have, it's important because I do need it to live and everyone does, I also think personal development is just can't be beaten, because to change and develop and grow yourself as a person into a better human being that helps other people and to progress yourself in some way, it's just really what life is about. That is what the purpose of life is to help other people, is to use the skills, experience and knowledge you've got to help others. And when you do that, you don't feel like you're stagnating in life. You always feel like you're moving forward, even if it's a very slow pace sometimes, like a snail or a tortoise. Mind you, tortoises can go quite fast because I used to have one. But yeah, so it's important to know that when you look back at your life and you see how far you've come, like you might think, like sometimes I'm so hard on myself. I do admit, that's one of my weaknesses. Sometimes I think I'm overcritical of myself, and it's like, I look back on my life previously to what I am now, and I'm like a completely different person. I'm like educating people about a subject that prior to 2014 I didn't even know about. I never believed in 2014 that I could actually get love, and now I do. I'm hopeful because I know there's other asexuals out there, and I hope one day to meet the right asexual guy for me. Yes, the circumstances aren't right at the moment. I've decided that I'm focusing heavily on my financial situation and career for the next year. I'm happy that, to know that even if I'm single for the next 4 years, that's fine. I would like my soulmate to turn up. I do believe he's Indian. I do believe he's out there. I don't know where he is. I've never actually had an Indian boyfriend before, so the fact I even know that's a miracle. But I feel him. I've known him before. I'm sure of it in a past life. I feel him all the time. So wherever he is, yeah, I guess when the time's right, he'll show up. But I just want to give you some hope that, even if things aren't going great, you just have to look back and actually think of how far you've come, because I'm sure in your own life you've made some achievements, some progression. Like even to be talking or listening to a show like this, probably like years ago you would be like me, you'd never even heard of asexuality, and you thought you was alone and that you were the only person like I did in the world like you, and that no one understood you, and that you're all alone in that sense, and that you know, and that maybe your family and friends didn't even get you, and they thought you're weird and strange because of your behaviour towards an attitude towards relationships. But, you know, but even just by being here, it means you've developed yourself in some way because you're knowledgeable, you know, you're not ignorant anymore, you're not absent-minded, you're not unknowledgeable in areas that you're now knowledgeable. Do you see what I mean? So that is all progression. And so sometimes when we give ourselves a hard time, it's really good to look back at how far we've progressed, you know. I mean, like I said, there've been a lot of good things this year. The conference, the course I've done, the fact that I've made 3 amazing asexual guy friends. I met one of those at the conference. The fact that, you know, one of my other friends who watches this channel, who videoed the conference, I got to meet him in person for the first time. We hung out together for 3 days. I mean, and I've had asexual meetups since, and it's all been incredible. You know, we've had some really good experiences together. I've made more asexual friends online. You know, I've got people who care about me and check in and say how you're actually doing, you know, people who care, and it's just really good, you know. There's a lot of good stuff, and I'm so pleased. You know, my friend is still alive, which she might not have been, and, you know, I've got 1 guinea pig left, which is incredible, and I've still got my parents, which I'm very thankful and hope I'll have for a long time, you know. And you know, I've got you guys here with me watching and giving me your precious time, because, you know, the most precious gift you can ever give to someone in your life is time. Because time is something you'll never get back. You'll never get that second that just went by ever again. And for you to just be sat here listening to me means a heck of a lot to me, you know. And I hope to see you throughout Christmas. I'm not going to promise a video every single day. I'll try my best to do as many live streams as possible, but I am going to be with my parents over Christmas and New Year as well. So I'll try and do as many as possible from my parents' place, but I don't want to promise a video every day. You know how I'll try to do my best. But, you know, like tomorrow night, for example, my parents aren't even picking me up till 9:30. Well, the time I've got all my stuff in the car and everything, it might be really late. So unless I do a video much earlier on, when I've got to go out and do last minute shopping before the shop shut for Christmas, I might not have a chance to do one tomorrow. So if I don't be alarmed. It means just because I'm preparing for Santa coming. And I absolutely love Christmas. And yes, I still say Santa's coming because I like to keep the magic of Christmas alive. I think it's really important to keep magic alive in your heart. And I think it's really important to keep magic of life alive for yourself, you know. I don't do it for other people. I do it for me. You know, I love Christmas. I love magic and wonder, you know. And I know my mum spent quite a bit of money. I already know that on my Christmas present. She hasn't told me, but it's like I said something the other day. Are you still looking for Christmas presents a few weeks ago? She goes, no, I spent enough money on you. But she's, you know, she buys me stuff like not just at Christmas. So she's bought me quite a bit of stuff this year to help me out, because I wasn't working since last October in a full-time employed capacity. So, you know, she got me a new coat this year, which was really nice, with a new exercise mat. So, you know, a lot of people though can get quite skeptical about special occasions like Christmas. They can be like, oh, well, you know, why do you have to give presents just then? You can give them all year round. And of course you can. It's like Valentine's Day. If you celebrate Valentine's Day, I celebrate being single day that day instead. And, you know, it's like birthdays and all that lot. And some of the people are like, well, why do I need to give that person a gift? I can give them any time. But yes, you can give them at any time. But why not just go and celebrate, do that extra special celebration? Because we only live once in life. Life is so precious. And when we can celebrate it, and, you know, any reason to celebrate life is amazing. I mean, prior to 2012, you know, when I had depression for years, I used to think about death quite a lot and dying and not wanting to be here. And now I'm the opposite. So, of course, any chance for a celebration of life, I really love celebrating my birthday, really love celebrating Christmas, because I feel it's so wonderful to be alive, you know. There's people that aren't here anymore, you know, people we may have lost loved ones, family, friends, pets. They aren't able to even be here and take a breath. They aren't able to do anything more with their life, because their life doesn't exist unless unless you're spiritual and you believe they've been reincarnated already and they've come back to life as someone else, then their spirit lives on. But in all essence, you know, as they were, their life has ended, you know, whereas we're still breathing, which is a miracle. Do you know what I mean? Even breath every day is a miracle. So I just think we have to be very happy about that. And I do love magic. I do love Christmas. Do you like my little Santa there? the mixed noise. And, you know, I love Christmas. I love the magic, the wonder. I love being like a teenager. I always want to be like a teenager. Since I changed my life around in 2012, since I became the teenager I was always born to be and leading the young teenager life that I love and adore, my life's just been so much more incredible. Like tonight when I was dancing, like one of these guys go, "Oh, I bet you're tired, aren't you?" I'm like, "No, I could dance for another 3 hours." Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, and my best friend's friend, her other best friend, she said, "You absolutely love dancing, don't you?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "You can tell as soon as you start dancing, you're really relaxed and like peaceful and happy." So I'm quite backwards to a lot of people, and I like being that way, you know. So where people love peace, quiet, and tranquility and to be on their own, I like being around people. I like jumping up and down, dancing. I like noise. I like action, because I relax and chill out in a jumping around, powerful, energetic, vibrant actions. I actually, you know, I actually chill out and relax in those situations. So where people feel like, for example, in the tubes in London, most people get really stressed out on the tubes, like, "Oh, I don't want to go to those tubes, I hate them." Whereas I'm like sat on the tubes and I'm so chilled. It's like my vibe, because I'm an energetic person and my natural vibration in life is busyness, fastness, hustle, bustle, noise. When that's going on around me, I kind of calm down, because it's like my natural vibe. It's really difficult to explain, but it's like I'm backwards to everyone else. But I think you have to celebrate your idiosyncrasies. Is idiosyncrasies or idiosyncrasies? You have to celebrate your differences in life. You know, things that make you very quirky. You know, I'm known as quirky online. You know, things that make you really quirky and different. You have to embrace that about yourself and love it. And I love the fact that I'm so different, that when everyone else is kind of like, I mean, I don't want everyone else to be stressed, don't get me wrong, but when everyone else is like kind of like, "Oh, tubes, I hate them," or "I hate going to London," and I'm chilling out on them, it makes me feel good, because I know all the time I'm in London, I'm gonna have a great time when I'm chilling out on the tubes. You know, I really, whenever I go to London, I actually chill right out. It's kind of my vibe. So if I wasn't living where I live now, I would live in London. Even though that's kind of weird to say, because I don't know what it'd be like living there. My flat here is really quiet, actually, and it's good for writing and doing other stuff, but sometimes it gets a little quiet, and I like to go out. And being an extrovert, I actually get energy from being around people. So the majority of asexuals are introvert, which means, you know, if they're around people a lot, they can feel energy drained, and that they've got to literally you know, they need space and time on their own, and go home and just chill out with a book or whatever, be very solitude. With me, after I've not been out of my flat for a few days, I'm like kind of like really need to get out, because kind of I feel a bit more claustrophobic if I stay in too much, and I kind of like feel like, you know, like de-energized. You know, like going out energizes me. You know, going out makes me feel great. It makes me feel like I'm in magic and wonder, and it makes it, I mean, I love my flat here though. I would never be without this flat. I absolutely adore it. It's not mine though, because I do rent, so that's a danger, if you like, of it. But you know, I absolutely adore this flat to bits. I love where I live, and you know, I'm so thankful for it. So, you know, just remember, be thankful and grateful for everything you have in life. And I'm going to wish you a very happy Christmas Eve, because I'm guessing now, well, certainly in the UK, it's already Christmas Eve. And I love Christmas Eve, because it's nearly when Santa's coming. Woo, 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 woo. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you so much for staying tuned in to the end. I appreciate it. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Heather. Thank you for everyone else that's come on this channel. Thank you, Michael. Good night. Happy Christmas Eve. Please give this video a thumbs up, like I said. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe below. Merry Christmas, Heather. Merry Christmas, Michael. Merry Christmas, Andy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now, or post a new video if you haven't already. And I will see you soon. Thanks for the thumbs up, and don't forget to share this video if you want to with anyone that may help. I love you all. Bye. Bye.